Are you tired of things around you just feeling dead? Dead finances, dead energy, not having the things that you desire more and more. Just as the Bible says, the enemy, the thief, comes to steal, kill and destroy. But Jesus came, he said, that you may have life and you may have life more abundantly. I'm going to show you in today's video the difference between death and the difference between life. And I'm going to give you an example of something which I've been thinking about recently, which is just going to blow your mind on so many different levels. So there's two types of people, there's two scenarios in life, right? And I was thinking, like, this is a video which is like a convergence is of so many different things which have been happening, which have got me to this point. So I remember years ago hearing, listening to Dave Ramsey, right? And he was saying something along the lines of what they notice from their data is when people get in better shape, their finances typically get better, or when people's finances get better, they get healthier, and other things happen in life. And this is a powerful lesson that a lot of people talk about. And one of the ways I think about it today is like how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? If you look at someone's life in one area, you can look at that across the board and you will see a lot of similarity, a lot of symmetry, because you can't do things by half measures unless you're somebody who does things by half measures, right? If you do business, right, half-hearted, there's other areas in your life, if not most of the other areas in your life, you're going to be doing things half-hearted. If you go all in one area of your life, you're most likely going to be going all in other areas of your life, right? One of the things I was thinking about, the two types of people, right? I was working out the other day, right? I was doing exercise in the morning, and like I was like exhausted, right? It was the workout did this job, and it reminded me of something which it's stuck in my mind for years and years and years. Years ago, I was watching this video, right? And it was explaining how people lose weight or burn fat, basically. And at the period in time, I had lost quite a bit of weight. I didn't look how I look now, right? I used to say like I was a balloon, right? But in all seriousness, one of the things at the time which has stuck with me since, I had lost a bunch of weight, and I heard someone explain how in one sense, you basically, when you're losing weight, you breathe out the fat. You breathe it out. And it stuck with me ever since, because I don't know if I'd ever heard anyone explain it in that way. You breathe out the fat. But it just stuck with me ever since. Now, the reason this is great, because it really helps you understand the foundation of what I'm talking about in today's video. Because how you do one thing is how you do all things. And the more you realize this, the more you will see the connections, the links between all of these different areas in life. So, working out. I'm working out the other day. I'm gasping for air. I'm like, I'm tired. And I'm thinking back to all those years ago, and it's like, oh yeah, you breathe out the fat. Now this links into something I was reading about in a book a couple of days ago, which is interesting. The person in the book was talking about the two ways that you lose weight, the two ways that you burn fat, basically. And the first way they were talking about was, well, one way to lose fat or to get into better shape is to fast, right? You cut off. Fasting is where you take time away from eating food, right? Fasting is like very popular, like in today's day and age in the health space, right? And it's always funny because I always talk about building your business based on the Bible, right? That's just one vertical, but you can build everything in life based on the Bible. Surprise, surprise, that fasting has been something all the way throughout the Old Testament, throughout the New Testament, etc. Fasting, surprise, surprise. Anyway, so the person is saying in the book, first way to do it is to fast. The second way to do it, I believe it was from a book anyway, if not, it was something I watched recently. The second way to do it is to exercise, right? To eat right, to exercise, and to basically breathe it out. And again, it was reminding me of all those years ago. So the person in the book started talking about breathing out, what we breathe out and what we breathe in. So for example, we learned this from when we were young, right? God has designed the world in a powerful way, right? Where we as humans, we breathe out carbon dioxide and we breathe in oxygen, right? Oxygen is what gives us life. And then at the same time, plants get rid of oxygen and they need carbon, right? They need carbon dioxide to live, etc. So it's part of God's powerful design. I'm thinking about all of this stuff, and I'm thinking about here in this moment I'm working out, and I'm just like, I'm here, like exhausted, breathing heavily, breathing out heavily, etc. And I'm thinking back to, oh, you know what, back in the day, when you breathe out the fat, you breathe it out. And like, I just had this like deep revelation, which again will help you if you're ever thinking about getting in better shape, but also at the same time help you in every other area of life, because it's the same, right? So we think about this line of the two types of people, right? I'm thinking about working out, I'm thinking about exhaustion. I'm just going to do this. I'll do this here, right? This is the cycle. The O2 / CO2, right? Oxygen to carbon dioxide, right? This is the cycle that I want you to have in your mind. So I'm working out the other day and I'm gasping for air. And we just do a happy face. Someone who's happy, right? Someone who's working out. I'm working out, gasping for air. One of the things I was thinking is, in order to be successful at working out, in order to be successful at getting the most out of a workout, whether it's 5 minutes or if it's an hour, right? Whatever, however long you do it, right? You find yourself in a situation where you want to be breathing heavily. You want to be like doing what you do. Even if you go on a walk, right? Walking, as they say, is very powerful because you go on a walk and it's like you're breathing. It's steady as well, right? It's not like super intensive. So in this moment, I'm realizing that I'm gasping. And it dawns on me, what am I doing? In that moment, as I'm exercising, I'm getting rid of the carbon dioxide and I'm bringing in more oxygen. And this is what we do every single day, just for the record, right? But there's something different about exercise. Why? Because it dawned on me in that moment, I'm taking in so much oxygen and I'm getting rid of so much carbon dioxide. And this is where, again, I'm just going back to the book, because the book was talking about how oxygen is what gives us life. Carbon dioxide, if we had no oxygen, right, and you just were left to the carbon dioxide, that's what we call asphyxiation. That's how we would die. We'd die because we don't have access to oxygen. The carbon dioxide, which we're trying to get rid of, would kill us. So it dawned on me in that moment, I'm like, look, I'm exhausted from this workout. I'm breathing in, I'm taking in so much life, and I'm getting rid of so much death. And it dawned on me just in a way that it hasn't dawned on me before. Like, oh, this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I've done a video specifically on this, why God wants the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer. I'll leave that linked in the description box below for you to watch in your own time. But it's like, the more and more I think about this, the more and more, like I said, how you do one thing is how you do all things. The more and more you realize what's going on in one area in life, the more it helps you understand what's going on in other areas of life. So the reason this example is so powerful, someone who is active, someone who works out, is because they're on the right side of this system. They are bringing in life and taking out death. Now, the problem that a lot of people face, this is where we want to be. This is the system. This is the side of the system we want to be on, because there's only ever two sides, God's side and the enemy side, the wise side and the foolish side, the life side and the death side, the narrow side and the broad side, the narrow way and the broad way, etc. The rich side and the poor side, etc. Like, there's only two things. And when I thought about it, so I say to myself, okay, cool. In exercise, I'm exercising, I'm bringing in life, I'm taking out death, much more than normal, right? This is the right side. If my business is focused on bringing in life and getting death as far away as possible, it will succeed, right? All of this stuff is systems and frameworks. It all works the same way. Then in the book, right, he started talking about something which was interesting. He started talking about fizzy drink. And this is, let's just say, I'm not here in this video trying to tell you to stop drinking fizzy drink either, just for the record, right? But the system is the system. So this is what he spoke about. He started speaking about fizzy drink, and this is why it's not about the fizzy drink, right? It's about what he said about the fizzy drink, which links into what I'm talking about in this video. So he started speaking about fizzy drinks. Let's just draw, let's just say this guy has got a fizzy drink here, right? And then he's got this, and then we've got, let's say for example, loads of different bubbles, right? These are the bubbles in the fizzy drink, etc. So he starts talking about the fizzy drink, and he's like, look, fizzy drink isn't good for you, he says. This, what he says next, I knew, but again, it's timely in regards to all of this stuff I'm thinking about, right? So he goes on and he said, do you know what makes a drink fizzy? He's like, in fizzy drink has carbon. And carbon is the thing which makes it bubble, right? And makes it fizzy, etc. So as he's saying this in the book, I'm thinking about this whole framework. I'm thinking about all of this stuff I've been thinking about just in life at the moment, and just going back years and years and years, etc. And thinking about how you do one thing is how you do all things, etc. And it just dawns on me, it's like, okay, cool. In the initial scenario, someone who is doing the right things, is doing the right things, basically, things work out well for that person. But then in this second scenario, this could be fizzy drink, this could be so many different things. It really just matters on the context, right, of wherever it is you're looking at in life. Most people that drink fizzy drink, especially in a very bad way, don't work out, they don't exercise, they don't do the right things, basically, which give them the right results. So this person, I was thinking, brings in life, because they breathe, they're human, right? They bring in life, and they get rid of death, right? They breathe in oxygen, they get rid of carbon dioxide. They don't exercise, most likely. And because they don't exercise, they're not even rapidly in any scenario, even for 10 minutes in a day, like bringing in life dramatically and spitting out, breathing out death, right? Which in turn would breathe out the fat. But also, they drink a lot of fizzy drink. A lot of fizzy drink. And by them drinking a lot of fizzy drink, what are they doing? Well, it dawned on me, and I just thought about all this stuff, and I've put all this stuff together. They're breathing in life, breathing out death. But then when they drink loads and loads of fizzy drink every single day, can after can after can, bottle after bottle after bottle, they're drinking in death, drinking in death, drinking in death. And then they wonder, then they're realizing, they're not realizing what's going on, why are things not working out? They're taking in life, breathing out death, and then adding in death to them again and again and again. And when you think about this framework, right, this is an example of just one area in life, in health, right, in regards to food or drink or exercise, no exercise. But we can translate this sort of framework to every other area of life. Most people that are not making the money they desire to make, most people who are not working the hours that they desire to work, it's because they're either on the red side of this example. They may be doing some of the right thing, just naturally breathing in life, but they're overwhelming, the majority of stuff they're doing is doing the wrong thing, breathing back in death in one way, shape or form. And the people that are successful in life are on the left side. They're doing the things every single day, more so than the things that are taking life. They are doing things which are successfully giving them more and more life, right, etc. You probably heard this before, right? When people are injured, they have some sort of injury, one of the things they do is putting them in a scenario where there's more oxygen. Because when there's more oxygen, it motivates growth, etc. It motivates health, because oxygen is life. In the beginning of the Bible, it says, and God breathed into their nostrils the breath of life, right? Because it's a representation, oxygen is a representation of the invisible force, the invisible thing that gives us life, which is God. That's why God will use the imagery of breathing into nostrils with the breath of life. It's a representation of the Spirit of God. So regardless of what you're going through in your life, if it's a business, if it's something else, think about this concept. Oxygen brings life, carbon dioxide brings death. So you want more oxygen, you want more air in your life in all these different areas, and you want less carbon dioxide in these different areas, and you will continue to grow, you'll continue to prosper, you'll continue to get better and better and better. Now, the main way I talk about this in this channel is about building your business based on biblical principles, kind of like what I've talked about today, but even more like strategic. And that's why I want you to watch this video right here, because it will show you how you can start making $100 a day with a digital product based on your skills, your hobbies, and your expertise, and that will give you more oxygen in your life and less carbon dioxide. Go win, and God bless.